What's up, Alphas? It's your boy, Alphas, mate, and I'm joined, of course, with the House of the Connoisseur. That sounded wild, Tori. How you doing today, Tori?
I'll take the title of hot D connoisseur for today. It sounds wild, but I am your local neighborhood scumbag here to give you your daily dose of dragons. So we're gonna keep
Yeah,
it pushing
yeah.
regardless.
This is the second one I did today, and for the second time, it's down with the monarchy. Petty reasons. Because if y'all don't know, I did Serpent's Queen earlier. If y'all interested in that show, I do a review on there earlier in the day. And for the second time, just cause hey, I'm like petty reasons or I'm upset, emotional instability, they are willing to burn down the whole kingdom.
Yeah.
Just because they're emotional. I'm like, that is wild. So I'm gonna ask y'all the same thing I asked on that show. Do you like the fact that one person can literally burn down the kingdom just because they having a bad day?
It's different when they got dragons, though.
It is. This on the other show, they didn't need dragons. I'm talking about they use horses and everything.
Dragons a little
It's
bit
based on
scarier than bull.
the only thing scary about the other show is based on the true story, so it's kind of scary when you get to that. But I want to know, Tori, how do you feel? Joe will probably join us later. How do you feel about this episode? How did it feel?
If I'm gonna be completely honest, I felt like this was the weakest episode so far. That's not to say that it wasn't a good episode. I mean, it was an amazing episode. I think House of the Dragon's arguably the best show on TV right now. I don't know if there's an argument otherwise, but I thought this episode it was sort of like almost like a soft reset to sort of. I mean, 10 years is a hell of a time skip, but I noticed off the bat like the new actresses that are playing Rhaenyra and Alicent, they do it so well that it feels like a natural progression. It feels like this is actually these characters once they've gotten 10 years older. So, but as far as content wise, emotionally, this was the weakest episode, but not a bad episode at all. And it's a tidy lead up. Dude, people lock in. We're entering the red spring. It's about to get real.
Yeah. So one thing I did notice me watching it is that I did get mad. I have to learn new names.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
episode.
it's easy when they're Targaryens though, because they're either going to be, if you know a couple Targaryen names, they're either going to be named Aegon, Aemon. You've got Jacaerys, which is a play off of Jaehaerys, which was the king before Viserys, and they stick to the naming scheme.
I had to learn dragons' names and everything.
Oh yeah. What we got? Only new dragons we got. We got Vhagar and we got Sunfire this episode, I do believe. Or no, we might
Vermex.
not have got.
Vermex. Remember baby Vermex? Yeah.
Yeah, Vermex.
Yeah, the whole thing it was like it's a reset of the whole show, like it's season 2.
But that's the thing. There's more dragons to come, folks. So just sit tight.
So you have to learn. You have to learn more dragon names, and more children seem to keep spawning.
Yep.
And like I said, I want to start this. Clubfoot is way more than he seemed, and he's like Michael Jordan. He's like, F them kids. Essentially, what he said. But we're gonna talk about that later. We start this episode. 10 years in the future with Rhaenyra giving birth. We see Queen Alicent demand. Yeah, to the third child. We see Queen Alicent demand that the baby that was born to be brought to her immediately. Those afterbirth.
It was a super powerful scene, though. Like the walk. I feel like that they did a good job with that sort of like making you feel. They did a really good job of really putting you in there with the new actress, because just her walk to Alicent, and then like you see the afterbirth still leaking out of her as she walks when you see the bloody footprints up to the door. I mean, it was just they were trying to make you feel for this new Rhaenyra, and they did a really good job with it.
Yeah. Those afterbirth noises was sick. They sounded terrible, and it did drive you into the story. We see Sir Laenor as we see him and they do this walk. The walk, like Tori said, was very intense and great.
Oh yeah.
And we also see Sir Christian Cole as they go in the Alicent room, and he is now Kingsguard and part of Queen Alicent's group. We are now joined by Uniqo Williams. He's here. How you doing,
check,
man?
check. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. What's up, man? What another weird episode.
Listen, we're talking about Afterbirth, but we're gonna get to that. How did you feel about the episode? And then we're gonna go back to where I continue with on. How do you feel about
it?
It
felt like Afterbirth.
So you making all kind of squishy noises.
It sounded real sloppy.
Man, it was just really weird, man.
I think the only reason it felt weird because it's like a whole new show with different actors.
So
they did a really good job.
They did though.
I don't know these people anymore. You know what I'm saying?
All I know is Alicent has a green dress on, and Rhaenyra has white hair, and she older. So that's how I know everybody.
But like I said earlier, the actresses did a super good job. It does.
They did do a good job though.
And the king is like the king is mad bald. So
that leprosy hitting.
Man, like I'm like, dude, you still alive? That's what I was like the whole time. I'm like, bro, you still alive, bro.
Well, that's the thing. In the books, he's not all that old. When it all starts in the books, he's like in his early 30s, which would.
I don't think he's old here either.
No, that's what I'm saying. The leprosy's working its toll, but I mean, where they've changed the timeline a little bit, I mean, he could still be in his 40s. That's believable, but
yeah,
early 50s. So he has that.
Still killing it, though, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The king is looking real deadly right now.
He don't look deadly as what's the prince name?
Oh, and his brother. Oh, hold on. What's up with all these brown haired kids? What's up?
They're Harwin Strong's kids. The night that she met when she snuck out.
Yeah, we gonna get to that. It's a lot going on in the show. We see Viserys old, looking sickly. He asked what's the child name. The child name is Joffrey.
Yep.
We all know Laenor is not the father, and in this scene they hint at it a lot that he's not the father. Everybody's throwing it except for
does he care?
They named him after his lover. He tried to name the first kid that, but they wasn't going for it. His dad said no. He was like, "Nigga, you cannot name the first child after your ex-boyfriend that got killed. I'm sorry. You can name the third one after him though."
Yeah. We see it. Viserys. The only reason this comes up is because Viserys like, oh, he has his father's nose, and everybody in the room like.
No, and that's a book play because the Strongs are known in the books for their pug-like noses. So it was the double play. Like that's how Strong is known for. Their defining feature is the nose. So black people don't exist in George R. Martin's version. So
what? Well, he picked them, so he picked the actor, so they do exist now.
Black people exist.
Yeah, he's still alive. He ain't like all them other people that done passed away in a long story. He picked them people.
Yeah, he did.
So, Alicent throws a shot at Laenor, said one day he might have a child that actually look like him. And Rhaenyra leaves, and she is bleeding all the way down the walkway as Laenor looks at her, and she is bleeding all the way down.
Afterbirth weekend,
Yo, she like, I'm a soldier, and I'm never gonna give Alicent credit for nothing.
Blood of the dragon.
We see all the pure white children. That's what I noticed out of this. Who chose an egg for their baby brother? Sir Harwin is there. It's like one of the few times this is the first time we see him in this section. Yeah, and he wants to hold Joffrey really bad with all the children with hair like him, and they don't even have the Targaryen hair. They have literally the oldest son has his hair.
Hey, but that's not bad genetics. Like Harwin was known as Harwin Breakbone because he be snapping niggas.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes he the pepper. We didn't even got to that point, but yeah, he the pep him like that boy look just like you. How y'all felt about the leakage and the children being Jarwin Harwin, I mean, that's a joke.
Harwin.
Yeah.
Nigga, I don't care. I just think it's messy as hell.
It was the agreement they made because you saw Laenor with his friend later on. We talk about that.
No one outside of the royal family is like. It's not like Laenor's like, oh my God, you cheated on me. He was like, bitch, I ain't gonna give you no dick anyways. You ain't no man. So, I mean, it's like you said, they agreed to that beforehand. Of course, if she was smart, she would have took another lover from House Velaryon just to. But at this point, Rhaenyra knows that her father, he's not changing shit. That man is gonna stick to his guns till he can't hold them no more.
That man, like Laenor, he got your nose. I'm like, everybody like,
look at them training together.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He tries from when they're born. I mean, they share the same wet nurse, like, yeah, because he wants to build that bond. He's like, I can't have my sons trying to kill their nephews, because that's the problem that came from Jaehaerys, the springtime king. All these,
what about your boy, Sir Charleston White?
Oh, Kristen Cole, that nigga.
Yeah,
that like I said,
get him in a minute.
We will get to Kristen, but as
he's
far
alive
as
and well.
Trying his damnedest to make sure these kids don't end up trying to kill each other later in life, which we'll see how well that works out going into these later episodes. But
they literally hate each other.
Well, not really at this point.
No, I would say they haven't got to the point of hating each other yet. But their mothers hate each other, so I mean, it's not too.
Yeah, we even see a scene that we're gonna go over in a minute to prove they don't hate each other.
When you sort of see him, I was about to say, Aemon, poor Aemon.
Well, I ain't even talking about Aemon. I'm talking about Aegon. He's kind of like, yo, my brother's a nerd and my cousins are cool.
Aemon, but that's the thing about Aegon. You can tell that nigga don't even want to be king, bruh. He's just trying to chill. He's over here trying to jerk off on the city. I mean, he's living life.
That's some Tory behavior right now. I'm a king. I can do what I want, no.
So, like, hypothetically, I'm just chilling on my couch, not doing anything. And I look to the right, and I see this dude jacking off over the city. I'm like, what the fuck?
You can't say that because what you gonna do? He the prince. You can't say.
I was about to say, what are you gonna say? This nigga.
Well, you know, the last time somebody was standing in a window, they jumped.
Oh, you thought he was finna jump? You got them Tommen vibes. You thought that nigga was gonna take the.
I watched Homelander. I knew what he was doing.
The Homelander vibes were real. That's the
I
first
knew
thing I thought of. I thought of Homelander, but Homelander was the first thing that came to mind.
Homelander has started a new brand of people.
Yeah, but
just backing off over the city, man. So.
But we gonna get to that. We're gonna get to more of that in a minute. We see one of the princes, Jacaerys. He get a new dragon named Venmax. He hasn't been able to control Venmax yet. As Aegon has been able to control his dragon Sunfire. He said Jacaerys, which is to me means flamethrower.
I mean, as we talk, it's old Valyrian for burn it down, so it might as well be flamethrower.
Yeah, it's Charizard. He telling Charizard to do flamethrower. And he flamethrowers the sheep, and Vermax eats the sheep. Aemon, he's looking sad all episodes. The only one of his family without a dragon, or of that group, without a dragon.
Well, that'll change, but we'll stay spoiler free for the moment. But
Jacaerys and them play a joke on Aemon. They set a pig dressed as a dragon.
We've got one person without a dragon, and then later in this episode, we see a dragon get freed up. So if you can put 1 and 2 together, you can make 3.
How y'all feeling about Daemon right now? Is he still a bad guy, or
we're gonna go over there in a minute? We're gonna get to that.
I'm part of the show on my app right now. I'm sorry,
Joe. We at the beginning. We just talking. Joe talking about the end of the episode. We at the beginning.
Like, how do you feel about Daemon? Rhaenyra is 30. Like, how do y'all feel about this? Like,
well, she's 20.
She's 20. A really good job with it.
The black chick is pregnant again.
Yeah, Joe, we'll get to that. We see Alicent is speaking to her son Aemon, and he is hurt as he see her very intelligent daughter Helena, and she is like being weird with the little worm thing. She's counting 60 of them. Yeah. Alicent is crying to Viserys about her son, Aemon, doesn't have a dragon. They picking on him. And Viserys is like, listen, is he stupid enough to believe they found a random dragon somewhere to give to him? Which is also a play on something I think is foreshadowing. Viserys finally finishing up his shot. Yeah. Viserys is finally almost finished with his big Play City tour.
Yeah, I will say he's still building them openings, Joe.
Alicent is worried about 3 children who don't have dragon eggs hatched. Alicent got to understand, like, Viserys' sperm ain't strong like that no more. You got the weak leprosy sperm. You ain't gonna get no dragon like that.
That's the thing, and that's the thing that's said throughout the books. Like, that's how you know if a Targaryen's really a Targaryen, because if they're not, you don't get no dragon. It was believed for the longest time you couldn't even ride a dragon if you weren't a Targaryen. Yeah. So, let alone hatch one. But that's why they put the dragon eggs in the crib with the children at birth, because it forms that bond.
Yeah.
So they did that with little Aemon, but dragon eggs don't always hatch.
Yeah. Christian Cole hates Rhaenyra, as we saw. He vehemently hates her with a passion.
Why would he not?
Which is a big change to the books, because like they're really driving the hatred home. Because like I said, I feel like they had to, though, when they changed the fact. Because like I said in the book, Kristen didn't take Rhaenyra's virginity. It was Harwin Strong that took her virginity. Well, it's argued it was either Harwin Strong or Daemon. So I mean, they showed us in the show it wasn't Daemon, and they made it Kristen. So I mean, I guess he has a little bit of room to hate.
Yeah, he like spoiled slut. I'm like,
still mad simp shit though. That's spurned simp shit.
Yeah. Aegon is jacking off in the window.
We're back. Oh, we're back on that.
Yeah.
Chronologically, Joe, we're going down the list chronologically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Aegon didn't blame Jace, but he dislikes his dumb brother. Alicent try to manipulate him like her dad did her. Like, oh, if Rhaenyra gets this, she is going to strike you all down and end you, so her children have no challenge to the throne. And my boy Aegon, like a hippie, he like, listen, I don't even want a challenge. I even like my cousins. I don't even like my brother. I like my cousin. Jace is cool. We do tricks and play games on my little stupid brother Aemon, and it's fun.
He's got a dragon too.
He's like, I just want to chill and hang out and be like Homelander to the citizens of this poor city. I got to deal with them.
They even said in the books that Aegon was. They said that he felt more like Daemon's son than Viserys' son, and I guess they show you that kind of. He seems much more Daemon-y than Viserys-y, in my opinion.
I don't think you can get more Viserys than Viserys.
You got to remember the original Viserys. He was checking out his sister's titties before he sold her to the horse lords.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Aemon is literally he probably Viserys. So far, I don't know. I don't know nothing about him yet.
I will not allow Aemon slander because.
Tor, you can't spoil.
Folks, don't worry. You got many more time skips to come, most likely.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we see
Daemon on Aemon one eye. That nigga's real.
He probably upset his daddy weak. He like, I'll never be like you. We see Daemon dragon flying as well as Laenor's dragon. It was a dope scene.
Laenor, not Laenor.
Oh yeah, Laenor. Laenor. Oh yeah, it probably changed.
Which is the biggest dragon in the kingdom. Vagar is the largest dragon. The only dragon they had that is even close to Balerion the Dread, which was Viserys' dragon before it died. The giant skull that's underneath the castle.
Yeah, and we learned that from her later on in the show. It's the biggest dragon, and she said she didn't even have it till she was 15. Yeah, and they are travelers now. They meet Prince Rhaegus, who wants their help, as they did back in the day with Aegon and all them back. Yeah, so they did that. We see their children who are actually black. They have black children. Daemon decided, hey, Matt Smith said, I'm delivering black kids. Yep. So we got 2
daughters.
Yep. So they got black kids.
It's just like future Westeros.
What was their names? One was named after one of the girls is named after Daemon and Viserys' dad, and then the other one is named after Laena's grandfather, I do believe. I know one of the girls' name is Baela after Balin, and the other one's name. Oh, what's the other one's name?
It's in my notes somewhere, but I don't know.
It escapes me. I know. I only remember the one that's named after Balin because it's such a prevalently used name. Niggas be getting named Balin all the time.
Yeah.
Balin is like the Jon of West.
Jon Snow.
No, well, I guess Jon is the actual Jon of Westeros. Thanks, Joe. But, yeah, it's a common name.
Yeah, Jon is coming even in America.
Yeah.
Now we see that we are at the part where the children are training with Aegon, we're training Aegon, Lord of the Straw. We learned his name, and Christian Cole is training him and Aegon. The other one, Aemon, and Aegon. I get
Aegon and Aemon.
Yeah, they make my throat like itch, but saying their names. But yeah, Aemon and Aegon. He is training them. He is specifically giving them attention. They are training with him while, of course, Rhaenyra's sons are just looking and not getting any training. Of course, Sir Harwin sees this.
Oh, and be like, who is real brothers or not?
What? Joe, the ones with black hair, it's easy to tell. They made it simple. The ones with black hair belongs to Rhaenyra, and the ones with white belongs to Alicent. That's how they made it simple for you. They didn't even make it hard. They could have gave them all white hair and claimed they was all Targaryens like that. But
it's
pretty. And that's the thing. They can still go for. I mean, it's harder once you make them black because every once in a while there was a Targaryen child that was born when they didn't get.
Because that white boy is pretty white, man.
Yeah, they made it simple for you. Rhaenyra children have black hair. Alicent children got white hair, so they kind of separated for you easily. Because I was confused at the beginning of the episode. I'm like, which one is Aegon? Which is Aegon? We'll find out in the future.
Is it going to be black versus white? Are we going to have a race war?
It's actually black versus green.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not even that many. It's not even. They did, for some reason, like I said, Laenor didn't lay it down, so he didn't get no black children. So you ain't even got to worry about it.
Also, this episode is brought to you by
gay.
Sir Harwin takes complete exception to this, and he put Aegon and the older children. By the way, y'all met Aegon. Aegon has been born a lot longer than these other children, so it's like a teenage kid, a 16-year-old. It's like a six. It's like. Well, he was born 3 years and then 10 year. Hold on, how many? Three? How many years?
10 year times
14.
I'm about 14. We're gonna say 14 versus like a 7-8-year-old. So it's like just imagine you at 14 versus your 7-year-old little cousin. Y'all sword fighting. Harwin even like.
What he saying? He said, "Are you teaching brutality?"
Oh yeah, that happens to her.
Harwin Strong has Daemon's old job. He's the commander
head of the city guard.
The city watch, the gold cloaks.
And
then god dang, Sir Christian Cole gets where he should have been kicked out of the King's Guard. Alicent saves him and names him Protector of the Realm, which is just a glorified King's Guard. So
yeah. So they have this situation where they put them against the younger kids. And it's a mismatch because even Aemon was born before these other kids. Like we saw them actually being pregnant and being born.
As a baby.
So them going against them is clearly unfair. And but Jace said, I ain't going out soft. I don't care how much older you 7 years, you twice my age. I will. We still going?
Jacaerys he'll get there. Like I said, I'm almost ready for another time skip.
We
just got 10 years.
Well, I mean, the kids are where the real meat of this fight is going to come from, though.
Yeah.
the kids that were actually
yes,
fighting.
the children we watched train this episode.
Yeah, they gonna basically be the main character.
Well, say, when we get to the
Rhaenyra.
actual Civil War and you start seeing dragons fight each other, it's not gonna be Daemon's old ass riding around. Well, it will be, but he won't be riding alone.
Well, we'll talk about something else at the end because I don't know if y'all watched the previews.
So I would ask you this: so on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like Naruto?
Joe, we don't care right now. we putting on dragons, but we see Harwin and Christian Cole, and he called out Harwin for the fight, basically what he was talking about.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Dude, is this what you teach?" Back to Joe point, this is what you teach brutality, and then they brought up the fact that all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, only people that show that kind of love is a cousin, a brother, or a son."
And I said that. Remember when I said that before he said it?
Yes, and then Harwin put them hands on him. Yo, he beat the doors off Cole. Cole knew what he was doing. He know he won. He won that engagement.
Yeah, but and that's another change from the books, because actually in the books, since they took out the tournament where Kristen gets beat by Daemon in the tournament, he takes it out a little bit later and ends up he loses match to Harwin, and then he gets his lick back and ends up breaking that nigga's collarbone, and they change his name from Harwin Breakbone to Harwin Broken Bones. So they managed to leave that part out too, but I guess it's all for the furtherance of the story.
Come on, it's for HBO Max, man. You know.
Yeah. Well, HBO Max kind of don't care. We done seen some wild stuff in this show. They, of course, where it gets back to Rhaenyra, Lionel is yelling at his son, his oldest son, about sleeping around with Laenor, and he talked about, "You have brought shame," because as we found out from even Clubfoot, the father feels a lot about his honor. He is very into his honor and how he looks and how his reputation.
Just mirrors Clubfoot walking a little bit better today. He's got nice clothes and everything.
Well, he's living a little better.
He's making moves, yo. Clubfoot's doing his thing.
Yeah.
He's trying to get that. He's trying to get that seat on the small council, yo.
Yeah,
he is, and actually, he should get it.
Yeah,
is he going to get it?
No, we can't spoil the show, Joe. You can ask him after the show. But
is he going to be the hand of the king?
You see them arguing.
No.
He gets
his
kicked
dad
out.
Was, but that don't mean he's going to be.
Yeah. You see that ultimately that this leads to him being kicked out as the leader of the situation, and Rhaenyra goes back to her husband Laenor, who is drunk and wants to go to sea, and said he is trying to get out of here before it gets bad. Yeah, he's trying to get out of here before it gets bad.
Man, I feel like the Stepstones are where you want to be at this point. Like
they are, but they aren't, because there's a new king of the Stepstones. They mentioned them loosely in passing when they talked about the man with the purple hair, which is
in passing.
Yeah, I mean they haven't dropped his name yet, so I don't know if they're going to use him or not. But so I don't want to spoil it. But when they gave the purple hair reference,
to be at this point,
like, there's a Tyroshi sellsword that takes up the mantle of King of the Stepstones after Daemon flies over the Pentos.
And like, fuck over the sea. Let's just go to the Stepstones, bro.
Well, the Stepstones are that place. The Stepstones are the land that's right in between Westeros and Essos. So it's sort of that middle.
Where would y'all want to live at? Y'all want to live in Westeros?
No, Essos. I take that back. Definitely Essos. It's nice and warm there.
I agree with her.
Yeah. All you gotta worry about is crazy mages trying to cut off your manhood and use it in magic potions and shit.
As long as you can keep your manhood, you're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, and you ain't even gotta worry about them cutting off your manhood if you're not a kid. So,
what?
Well, that's what happened to.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. But what? We actually in the next scene we actually meet Daemon's children, and it seems that he's ignoring his second daughter, but not Baelor as much because she has a dragon. But he hasn't been. But the youngest daughter, which I don't think they even released the name right.
Her name.
I don't think they said the name in this part. I think they said it later, but
I know Baelor. I'm trying to remember because, like I said, one's named after Baela's named after Daemon Viserys' dad, and then the other daughter is named after Laena's granddad, which would be Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra's dad. So, man, what was his fucking name? I'll think of it once we're done recording.
I think I wrote it down later, or we didn't even. I don't know if it even said it, or I think I was supposed to.
I only remember Baela because it's female Baelin.
They have they mentioned her name. We didn't even see her that much. We did see Daemon teaching her some the older language, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was teaching her language. That was Baelor, so he taught her.
Got to learn old Velaryon.
Yeah. And like I said, he completely ignored his second daughter. Apparently, we see Lord Beesby at this King Circle, in which he is old and funny, and that's why that's the first thing I thought about, because he was late on everything they were talking about. He was like. Yeah. He was like, the Blackthorn, I think they're winning. They were like, bro, we done moved on. That's my first thought. The Blackwood's the Blackwood.
It was a callback to the fight for Rhaenyra's hand when Little Lord Blackthorn ended up gutting, what's the other one? Whatever family it is that they beef with continuously. Go back and watch our last review when I was fresh on all the names.
Yeah. And we see they are having this conversation. We see Rhaenyra and Alicent beef is constantly being shown. Rhaenyra thinks that they should be more aggressive, while Alicent believes in like a peaceful reference.
You can see it in the guards too, because if you go back to the beginning of the episode, if you notice, the guards outside of the birthing chamber when Rhaenyra is giving birth are wearing black and red.
Did you see anybody in my video?
I did not.
We can't see nothing in your video. It's smoky.
Nope.
I was gonna say it looks mad smoky, yo.
Yeah. But then we get a play because Rhaenyra feels pressure. We seen she felt pressure with Laenor throughout the show. She felt a little pressure from all the rumors and stuff, thinking that if something comes out, she will have to be exiled. And so she decides to come up with a plan. She apologized, saying they need to be one house and that they used to be friends. And she suggests that her oldest son, Carey, marry Helena. Like I said, the girl that playing with the worm with the 62 rings around.
With smart. Incest is wincest in Westeros.
Yeah, so that is his auntie?
Yeah.
Essentially?
Which isn't crazy for Targaryens. Never forget that Aegon the Conqueror flew over and
if you're a Targaryen, you're a Targaryen for life.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like when the kid asks his mom if he's a bastard. She's like, you are a Targaryen, so we might marry you to your aunt.
I think that's pretty apt.
Yeah, that's the quote of the thing. You are Targaryen. We might marry you to your aunt. You don't have.
Well, like I said, when Aegon the Conqueror flew over and took over Westeros, he came with his two sister wives, which is why.
And your aunt, by the way, your aunt is very weird, and she likes to play with worms, so it's good. You know what I'm saying? She ain't gonna be fucking
has 3 heads.
Yeah, she likes to play with worms, and she'll ignore everything you do, and he won't be involved in politics. Why does Alicent's children feel like they are not even going to try to fight for this until they are forced to?
Because that's really how. Because like I said, Aegon is
on some real shit. That's how it is. They really don't want that. Don't.
I think as this goes on, people will really start to like Aegon and Aemon. Like their dynamic it's sort of like Viserys and Daemon. Only they're a lot closer, but like when the brotherly battles happen, it gets a little bit wilder than anything we saw from Daemon and Viserys.
Yeah. We ain't gonna ask you that because this might be a spoiler. But like I said, Helena cares about playing. She like, you don't have a dragon. She's like, I don't really care. I just want to see how many rings on this worm. It might open one.
Why are there so many pregnant people and like a whole bunch of kids? Like, what's going on?
Because they royal wombs, Joe.
Yeah.
It's the first episode.
Nigga, ain't nobody got no PlayStation, so what you got to do besides fuck?
What are we doing?
You can fuck or you can fight. That's all you can do in Westeros.
No, and doesn't that suck? Or like, okay, Tori, do you want that for your life?
Hey, old people like that.
I mean, I don't mind fucking or fighting, so I could live with it.
If those are your only choices, like you good with that?
Yeah,
Tori would fit very well. He's from Viking lineage.
Okay with that.
Viking lineage?
Yeah, he's from Viking lineage. One half of his family came from Africa, another half came from Antarctica.
I was about to say, we got the warring states going all inside my genetics right now. You know what it is.
He has one peaceful side that probably likes herbals, and he has one side that likes to fight. So the African side liked herbals and medicine, and this other side likes to pillage,
to colonize,
and pillage and plunder. That's what he liked.
Hold on, what did Captain Planet? He's a hero. Gonna take pollution down to zero.
Okay. Yes.
Why are we singing Captain Planet?
Because bad guys that like to loot and plunder.
Oh,
plunder. That's what got him. Okay.
Okay. We found
it. Yeah, the word plunder got me.
Yeah. Viserys likes the idea of them actually being married. He like it's a good idea.
Yeah, and because Viserys is a people pleaser.
He's so aloof.
He's
like,
well, he knows. He just don't. He loves his daughter. He gonna willingly be.
Granddad, it's not funny. He's
He just willing to ignore everything and look like a fool for his daughter. That's what it is. Let's be honest. Come on,
does he know
that? And that's the thing. Most fathers are.
Yeah.
My father included. He will overlook something my sisters do long before he overlooks something me or my brother does.
And Clubfoot, I got his statement at the end. He mentions that. Like he clearly mentions So we're gonna go with
treat his father and his brother at the end.
And she even offered Aemon an egg for the next batch of dragons, so he automatically gonna get a dragon. So she even offers that.
If the dragon is born. That's a big if.
If the dragon is born.
This will be another thing where we'll see how close they stick to the book.
Oh, one interesting thing I did tell you about this King's Court tour before you. They did Rhaenyra had this dress that showed her breasts, and she was ashamed after everybody was there. And I'm like, it's interesting. It's like a woman. They try to show a woman.
The little white and red numbers she had on, right?
Yeah, and they were like, everybody looking at it and and she was like, and she said that. I'm like, that's the woman thing they gonna keep trying to bring up in the court. I see what this is going.
No. Are you talking about where she has the breast milk leak, or is that later?
Yeah, the breast milk leak.
Yeah. That's the gray one she's wearing. She wears the white and red one where she gives the idea of leaving the Laenor. But
yeah, the breast milk came out. She was shamed about it, and then I was like, that's gonna lead to the court and being the women's situation, which is very interesting.
How did you feel about that, Tori?
What, the breast milk leakage?
Yeah, when her breast milk was leaking through the.
Well, I mean, I don't think they have leak pads in Westeros. So I mean, that's a regular thing. If you've been around a pregnant woman after they give birth, they produce milk during that time, and I mean, hell, the royals don't suckle their children so the breast milk sits there because they have wet nurses. So
does Prince Henry have a child with Meghan?
Yes.
Yes. I think they've got. No, they don't. Harry.
They don't have any kids yet.
Yeah, Harry, and it's not Henry. So
it's Harry.
You got the names. You got the hangs. No, you said Henry.
I said Harry.
You said Henry.
Oh, I thought you said Henry. It sounded
like he did say Henry. He said Prince Henry, which I thought you was. I like. Did he watch Serpent Queen? I thought you watched the movie. I'll watch. I like Prince Henry.
Actually, I am going to start Serpent Queen too.
Serpent Queen is interesting.
Hey, did you watch Jeffrey Dahmer?
I haven't watched that yet. They said it's sick.
I heard it's sick too, man. Do y'all
want to watch that? My friend said that they had to cut it out.
No women like anything about a serial killer.
Dude, they he's attractive. I'm like, y'all are a psychopath.
You gotta remember, a woman will watch they'll watch nothing but goddamn murder mysteries all day. See bitches getting murdered in the park, and then right after it's over, be like, I'm gonna go take a jog in the park. Are you? But I digress.
Yeah.
I also digress. Y'all want to watch that and review it?
I'm not watching Jeffrey Dahmer. It's not.
I don't know.
I need to know about old Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know if I want. We might watch it. I gotta see because I'm a little busy tomorrow.
I'm gonna watch it, but dude, he's a sicko, man.
Yeah.
They picked the right dude to play him though. That nigga from American Horror Story be eating when it comes to these goddamn murder roles. But we're getting off topic. Back to the dragon.
We on Laenor now. Laenor resigns as the hand of the king. He wants to resign because there's rumors swirling. There's a shadow over his house. He said there's a shadow. Yeah, he said it's a shadow over his house.
Shadow over Harrenhal, though. Don't nothing good come from that castle. Never ever.
Nothing happens that's good ever.
Nothing ever. Harrenhal is a horrible place. I mean, you can go back and watch regular Game of Thrones, and you can see how bad Harrenhal is.
What you say, regular Game of Thrones?
Yes, Game of Thrones proper, if you will.
Well, the sequel, I guess, the sequel.
Yes.
Viserys refuses to accept that, but allows him to take Harren home to take over his house, basically get him away from the situation. Lord allows.
They started bringing up, old girl, what's her name? You know, Auntie. That was like super duper cool.
Oh, Rhaenyra
from the Flowers,
the queen that never was.
No. They start bringing her family up. I'm talking about she was talking shit in the garden all the time in the original game.
Oh, you're talking about the old Lady Tyrell.
Yeah. So they're starting to bring her name up.
Well, I mean, we're getting into the years where she would have just been born. So
yeah.
She'd be a baby at this point, I do believe, because I think we're roughly, I think it's 123 AC, 120 AC, somewhere in there.
Yeah. I'm just saying, we're starting to bring her, Lady Olenna.
Yes. Yeah. But I think where we're at, she's probably like a year or two old at this point.
Yeah, it's time for her to show up. Lord Larys meets Alicent. We find out Lionel has a lot of arm. Alicent admitted that she wants all the advantages. She's like, Clubfoot, like, listen, your father King Viserys is doing what any father would. Your father would do the same thing. And he's like, no, he wouldn't. He'd be partial to me. Well, she's saying she wants all the advantages. And we see Laws is starting to have a group of people who are criminals that he cut their tongues out and tells them they'll be free men. Now, at this point, you start wondering what is going on. What is he doing? What is he setting up? I actually thought it was going to take longer, but we're going to get in there in a minute.
No. This is one thing I felt that they did very well. And it's another thing that puts a bookend on something that actually happened in the book, because in the books because of what happens at Harrenhal, the rumors say that they think it was Daemon that did it, but we see otherwise in the show. So, but as you were saying, Clubfoot has his conversation with Alicent.
Yeah, he had all those conversations. So we start wondering what they do. We see their tongue get cut off so they can never speak about it. So he got his own little group of mercenaries, basically, whatever he is coming up with. He got his own little group of shadow.
A callback to Ilyn Payne, which was the headsman in
shout out to Payne.
Game of Thrones, the one that kills Ned Stark. Ilyn Payne doesn't have a tongue because you can't tell nobody nothing. If you can't write and you can't talk.
Good idea. We see Laena's giving birth, and we see the show begin. The ending is starting to begin like the beginning was. We see a birth is doing, and then we come up that the situation happened straight up the way it happened for Viserys, and Daemon looks like he gonna have a choice. Like, hey, do you gonna cut her open and have the baby, or she won't live from it, or you just gonna let the baby die? So what's gonna happen? I was wondering what Daemon do, but Laena decided she's not gonna even let that happen, and she tells Vargas to flamethrower. Vagar. Why did name change? It's an autocorrect. My bad. Vagar. She tells him to basically hit flamethrower Dracarys. It's hesitant to do it. It is very hesitant to do it, and she keeps on trying to do it over and over again. And it finally does. And Daemon is yelling to try to save her. Well, I don't know if he's trying to save her. He's just trying to see what she is.
But that's not his dragon, so he can't stop it.
Yeah. So he comes out, and it was too late. And so we never even got to answer the question, what did he do what his brother did? Even though they were presented the same situation, what he do what his brother did, and we didn't answer, which I thought was a nice tie-in to see
So you're
what his
waiting.
personality was in.
There was the irony where he gave the heir for a day speech, and now he's in roughly the same situation.
Yeah, so that's a good callback, even though as Tori told us that was not in the book.
Yes, that did not happen in the books. But I felt like it was a lot more powerful than the way Laenor went out in the books. I mean, I'd rather be burned up by a dragon.
Oh, we love Olenna. We love Olenna. Well, I can't believe that. I can't believe that Lannister boy did her like that. You know what I'm saying?
Joe, we don't know what you're saying. That's not.
No, we're talking about the Lannister boy, and he killed Miss Olenna.
No, she got set
off. No, we're talking about Laena, the black girl that Daemon married.
Oh, my apologies. I'm sorry.
Yeah. She got burnt by the dragon. Flamethrower.
She asked for it.
Charizard flamethrower.
She asked for it.
She went out like a boss. She said earlier in the show that she wanted to die on a dragon, by a dragon, or own a dragon.
Like a dragon rider.
Yeah,
dragon riders die in fire.
Is that how they die?
Well, not all of
them. It's kind of messed up though, because
I guess.
She has Targaryen blood, and Targaryens are supposed to be immune to fire. We see in the beginning when we watch Daemon ride through the fire at the beginning when they're riding over. You know what I mean? He comes out unburnt. It's like the Targaryen superpower. Fire doesn't hurt them. And I guess unless they want it to. So that's the only way.
Unless they want
technically, she shouldn't have been able to be burnt.
Yeah, that's
but maybe it's because she's not full Targaryen. So
they could do that. Like she got the black skin and not to get burned.
Yeah. Well, no, it's the white skin that should have kept her from getting burnt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but she black, so it didn't work.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Can we talk about the village hidden in the clouds for a second?
What? What you mean? You talking about?
Can we talk about the village hidden in the clouds for a second?
Joe, I don't know what you're talking about.
What happened in the clouds?
Black people.
What? Joe, I don't know what you're talking about, so I don't know how to respond.
Have you not
watched
Naruto?
Joe, yeah, we don't care about Naruto, Joe. So Sir Howard speaks to his children as he is leaving, and his sons are sad because Jason's asking around, as Tori said earlier, that am I a bastard? And Rhaenyra said that you are Targaryen.
This time too, by the way.
Yeah,
said, am I a bastard?
Yeah.
And she plays it off quick smooth.
Sure, you are a Targaryen. It doesn't matter.
Yes or no. She's just like you're a Targaryen, which is true.
And they know it because they hair black like his. It's strange. Why would I ever be like that? Rhaenyra said her and Laenor are going to the Dragonstones, and he's like, I thought you said if you leave that Alicent will convince the king to sweet talk him, basically. Put honey in his ear.
Pour the honey in his tea.
Yeah, put honey in his tea.
That's also because in the book there were rumors that Alicent was slowly poisoning Viserys, and that's why the deterioration got so crazy. So, who knows? It could have been a little double entendre wordplay there. I suppose we'll see.
Yeah. She repeats to Laenor what the line he said earlier in the show. Sailors flee the storm as it gathers. So she's saying, I'm fleeing, but all these rumors are going around. And she tells
it makes sense for her to go to Dragonstone, where she's the heir. The heir always keeps their seat at Dragonstone.
Yeah. So who's in the line of succession at this point?
Rhaenyra.
It would go Rhaenyra, and then her children, then the children that Alicent has with Viserys, which would go Aegon, Aemon, and then Helena.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
because it was starting to get convoluted because all these kids was involved.
That's like she said in the show, it's Rhaenyra and then Jay. I'll call him Jace because they actually called him Jace in the show, which I thut was cool, so I don't have to read him all.
Which is a little switch up because he's named partially after his great grandfather, which was Jaehaerys, which was the king that we saw at the beginning when they had the meeting at Harrenhal. Another little tie-in. Bad things happen at Harrenhal. Viserys was made king there, and that wasn't the greatest thing for the kingdom. But yeah, his name was Jaehaerys. The kid's name is Jaehaerys. So they switched the H for a C.
And they call him Jace too, if y'all want to call him Jace. So
they do call him Jace.
And then her first son,
Jace.
Then her second son,
Millicent's.
No,
right?
Alicent's kids would come after all of Rhaenyra's kids.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Even the baby that just born, she got 3 boys.
That was the problem with Jaehaerys though, where there was no war. He had 14 different claims to the throne to deal with, and then they all killed each other until he had to pick either his daughter or his grandson, and he didn't think that the kingdom would listen to his daughter, so he made his grandson the king, well, his oldest grandson, which was Viserys.
How did we end up with the king on episode 1 of Game of Thrones?
Joe,
that we can't tell you without spoiling like the next seasons of this show.
Yeah.
Because you actually see some of these characters. Well, you see one of these characters in Game of Thrones proper, whether you know it's him or not.
Yeah. We see she tells Laenor he can bring his boyfriend. Because we need warriors to fight, which is a play on words. And we see something interesting after this. We go to the castle where we see Harwin and his dad, Lionel. They are going to
the ancestral home of House Strong, the great black castle of Harrenhal.
Yes, they're going there, and you see somebody stalking them with a little bitty emblem. What is that, Tori? What's the little emblem? I couldn't quite see it.
I couldn't make out what it was either, which is weird.
Was it a roach or something? It was like a little bitty.
Yeah, it was an insect. It could be a play on. It might have been a spider. I'm not for sure though.
I thought it was a little crawling one. Y'all let us know in the comments what was that on the arm right there. And we see that.
Oh, are you talking about the Harrenhal coat of arms? Or are you talking about
no, the little agents that Clubfoot had.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I was gonna think on Harrenhal.
And we see we see Lionel is asleep, and you see smoke, and then you see the smoke. You see Harwin beating on the door as the roof falls on him, and I'm
trying to get to his daddy.
Yeah, and I'm like, Clubfoot really just ended his brother and his father.
Man,
which makes him the heir.
Clubfoot
he set his castle on fire though.
He owns the castle now. He is the heir. He doesn't have. He burned his own castle now.
So where does
I feel like he sort of knows that Harrenhal's bad luck. Because if you look at it, the worst thing that happened to his dad was being made hand to the king.
So where's that? Like let's go into Game of Thrones as we know it. Where did Clubfoot? Where is he at?
Joe,
he's been dead for a long time.
Yeah, we're gonna say that too, but that would be kind of a spoiler too.
Man, I just want to know the whole thing. I want to know the whole story.
Joe, the audience, we got an audience that might know.
There's a riveting book called Fire and Blood, and if you go and read it, you will find out the whole plot.
You can ask him after, Joe. Even though I even know what happened to him because I did look that part up, even though I didn't read it.
So it's after the Dance of Dragons. Where does Game of Thrones start?
100 some years, 90 years.
Yeah, it's 130, between 120 and 140 years before.
Yeah, so it's 100 some years away.
So when we get to Game of Thrones, the Targaryens are nothing.
Yeah, they're on the Mad King Aerys was the last Targaryen to sit the throne.
Is it Aegon?
No.
Aerys is. I guess he would technically be Aegon's great twice or three times great grandson. Something like that. What it is?
Yeah.
So is the Mad King the great grandson of the Targaryens?
Yes, the Mad King is the great. The Mad King is the great grandson of the nigga that was jerking off on the balcony.
Yes. So it's Homelander's son, basically.
So Homelander pulls up And then the king of Westeros, when we started it,
is
he
the
actually
Storm
beat the
Lord
Targaryens.
Robert Baratheon.
Robert Baratheon. So the Baratheons take over after.
Well, the Baratheons take over because the Mad King killed his dad at court, and then that made Robert call his bannermen, which would be the Starks, because they were raised together in the Vale, which is where Jon Arryn's from, where they have the Moonborn shit, and then they go from the Vale to fight the war against the Mad King. They end up killing his son Rhaegar at the Trident. Fucking Robert breaks him with the goddamn warhammer, and yeah. Then Jamie turns on Aerys, murders him, and we get
that's how we get
it. But man, dude, I'm sorry. Hey, we didn't mean to spoil 172 years worth of.
Well, they know that from Game of Thrones. But let's try to finish this up so they can talk about that. Like that is explaining Game of Thrones. I knew that from Game of Thrones because they say it. Because I don't even think you're gonna get to that in this show. Yeah, they show. You ain't gonna see
it. A little flashback when they do when they show when Rhaegar and Lyanna gives birth to Jon. They show the little flashback when Jamie turns on Aerys.
Yeah. But let's get finished with this because the people want us to. Clubfoot states, "What are children but a weakness, a folly, a futility? Through them you cheat your great darkness and its victim, as we see a rat crawling near Viserys and it's knocking things down," which is great imagery. This show does a good job at that.
We see. Well, think the rat licking up the blood at the end of the last episode.
I like the fact they keep showing that rat and they are always around Clubfoot.
Can y'all believe that? I thought he was like dying.
Who?
King Viserys.
Viserys is dying because he got leprosy.
So. But he got the best doctors in the world on call. So.
A 10-year time skip.
Joe, leprosy don't kill you right away. It's like dementia. No. Joe, he is 40-something years old. He look like that, Joe. He look like he's 100 years old.
He's still got some time. He's still got some time to go.
Like I think he's like, what is 48? We can look at it. Y'all can tell me what it is in the comments. But I think he's like 48 early 50s.
This episode.
Yeah, I would say in the books at this point he'd be in his mid 40s, late 40s, somewhere in there. He's in his early 30s.
Yeah, he looks like he has no hair. His teeth rotted and everything. That's what leprosy does. It won't kill you right away. Yeah. It just deteriorates your body. He have holes in his body. He don't have fingers and stuff like that. That's what it does. It just kills you slowly and rots you to things. Thank God they learned how to cure that.
He's rotting from the inside out.
Yeah. Clubfoot says he said love is a downfall. Alicent looks like she is sad because they are dead. She becomes like the ultimate villain now because even though she didn't even want it.
Is she worse than Cersei?
No.
Cersei. Clubfoot might be, according to what I see, like I said, I ain't read the book from that. Clubfoot seems
Clubfoot's damn near worse than Littlefinger, yo.
It wasn't like that bad to me though.
Clubfoot is terrible.
He just burnt his dad and his brother alive.
Okay, you got a point.
And Rhaenyra basically gave up and like, yo, I'm finna sit in this castle and chill. And now you just murder her.
You're pushing the fight now. There was a peaceful resolution, and we're pushing it. Like I said, I've been saying this since we started reviewing this show. The War of the Greens and Blacks is upon us.
Yeah, and it's starting.
We're here.
And I love that Clubfoot actually said, "You're like, listen, you're gonna owe me something in the future. I can't wait to see what your reward." He basically has everything. Alicent is beholden to Clubfoot now. He's like, "Yo, listen, I'll just tell the king, hey, listen, she got me to murder my whole family and your hand."
He is technically the original Lord of Whispers. There wasn't a Lord of Whispers before Clubfoot, at least not on the small council proper. So if he gets there, you'll have your inaugural Lord of Whispers.
Okay. So where does Cersei stand?
Why are we talking about Cersei? This bitch ain't even gonna be born for fucking 100 and something more years, nigga. What are you?
What I'm
saying. Joe, you trying to get us through 100 years of lineage that we ain't.
I want to know, like, is she the most evil person in Game of Thrones history, or like
no, the Night King is the most evil person in Game of Thrones history. What are we talking about?
Who is?
Have you not watched all of Game of Thrones, Joe?
Damien?
All right, we about to get out of here. We gonna sit in here. Joe, wait, I don't even know what damn thing. Tori, what can we find you?
No. Before we do this, like,
765 on everything. Y'all
we can do this after the show. Joe,
who is the most evil person?
The Night King, Joe. The Night King. Joe, what can they find you?
He's not even that bad.
Oh my God, Joe.
Hey,
the Night King is terrible, Joe. Did you watch that?
No, like, who's the most evil person in Game of Thrones?
The Night King.
That question is subjective. I
agree with Tor.
You can ask 10 different people that question. You might get 10 different answers. Some people say it's Littlefinger. Some people say it's Cersei. Some people think it's Night King.
Cersei. I don't think it's Cersei.
But I think it's King Viserys because if he wasn't so soft, none of this would have happened. We out.
He's not evil.